And it was a Sunday morning. I was sleeping and my phone rang, and it was one of JB's coworkers. And she was like, "Hey, I was just calling to check on JB." And I was like, "What are you talking about?"
Brandy Jones had no idea what had happened in the early hours that day in December 2016.
"I heard JB got in an accident." And I was like, "I don't know what you're talking about." I was like, "I think you're confused." And she was like, "Maybe I am."
Unfortunately, her friend was not. Brandy's husband, JB, a high school basketball coach, was driving home from his night job at a residential facility when he nodded off and crashed his car into a ditch. Brandy had few details.
Once I got to the hospital, I found out they had my number written down wrong. And so that's why they couldn't get a hold of me. I was praying. That was always my first reaction. "Man, God, let your will be done. However this turns out, let your will be done, and let us find peace and comfort and rest in that." And so that was always my prayer.
At the hospital, she learned JB had suffered multiple injuries, the worst being fractured C5 and C6 vertebrae.
I'm not a reactor. It's not bad in my head until somebody tells me this is bad.
JB, a former college basketball star and Southern Illinois Hall of Famer, was conscious but scared.
I remember just waking up in the hospital. Barely could move, couldn't do nothing. Thinking about if I was gonna ever walk again.
Within hours, doctors were performing surgery to repair JB's spinal cord.
I knew it was severe because I'm in the medical field, because my faith is huge. And so I was like, until God tells me this is a real problem, everything's gonna be okay.
The surgery was successful, but doctors were not offering up much hope that JB would ever walk again. Brandy believed otherwise.
The doctors and the therapists, we have to teach you guys a new normal now. Your life is about to be changed and different. And so we're gonna have to teach him how to do everything over again. And when they would leave out the room, I would tell him this is not our new normal.
After several days in ICU, JB was moved to a rehab facility, still unable to move below his neck. By then, Brandy had gotten the word out to their family and the community to pray for their friend and beloved coach.
We're gonna do everything we can do. I need you to picture yourself opening and closing your hand, flexing and extending your ankles and your wrists, and I would do the motion for him.
She also knew he faced more than a physical challenge and posted a prayer board in his room.
People would come and they would write whatever they wanted. I said, you can write scripture, you can write a little note, you can write a joke, whatever you want to write. And so I would tell him, hey, we have to speak like our words, right? They're important. Power lies in the tongue. And so.
But in my mind, I'm still like trying to move, but nothing was moving. And then one day something moved. And so that gave me encouragement.
By now, JB also believed for his healing, speaking words of hope and pushing himself to the limit in physical therapy.
I told them I was gonna walk out of there. They didn't believe me. I think they think I was a little out of my mind.
It didn't stop there. JB began moving his hands and then his feet. 2 weeks later, he stood up. After 30 days in rehab, he walked out on his own, just as he had predicted.
My physical therapist, she was just amazed of how far I came along. The doctor who did my neck surgery, it just blew his mind. Like he was super shocked.
I knew what the doctors and the therapists thought as far as this isn't supposed to happen, but I never told him. I never told him that this stuff wasn't supposed to happen. I just said, hey, God hasn't told me anything different, so we're gonna believe and we're gonna expect greatness and goodness. And so that's what we did.
Today, JB is back to coaching basketball and has nearly all of his mobility back.
When you really think about it, it's nothing but a miracle. It has to be the power of God to do this.
And I think just his story can help so many people. Even today, his story is touching people and helping people to not give up and grow weary.
He got a plan, and my plan might not be his plan, whatever his plan is. And I'm all right with that.